Alex being with LowKick MMA and Billy Goff, who returns to action next weekend on August 26th in UFC Singapore. Billy, how are you?
Fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I feel like that intro could have been a little bit better, but it is what it is.
All right. We're human.
um, a week out. How you feeling, dude?
Good. My weight's good. Not hurting too much. So I'm in a pretty good standing so far.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Before we get to your fight, you were supposed to return in February. What happened?
I ended up got hurt and needed to get double knee surgery. So I got that done um, January. It took me longer to get the surgery than I would like, but I got that done, and um, now I've been healed up 100% for a while now, and it's just I'm just trying to get a name, trying to get a fight. I've been trying to fight since trying to get one booked since July, um, and it's just took a little while to get it. Didn't get one for Boston, and next best thing was across the world in Singapore.
What, dude, double knee surgery is pretty wild. First of all, how was there? I mean, was it a surgery that was needed, just like from being a fighter on the regional scene for a minute, or did it happen during camp?
So no, so it happened during camp. So half of it happened during camp. The right knee did. Um, I had a torn meniscus in my left knee for like 5 fights. Um, so ever since the Lally fight, I remember the night that I accepted the fight against Sean Lally. I popped it during practice, hitting a butterfly sweep, just drilling too, and the that one was, I mean, it was annoying, but it was like, I'm not going to pull out. It's not that bad of an issue. The right one happened out of Naga. And that one, like, I remember standing up and that one felt like I was going to, like, my knee just didn't feel right. And then it was hard to train. It was hurting a lot. And so I was like, yeah, let me get this looked at. And they told me that I had a pretty bad tear in one of them, but I had two tears in the right knee. And they're like, yeah, you should get surgery. I was like, all right, whatever. I guess I'll do. But if I was gonna do it, I'm gonna do both at the same time. I'm not doing one.
So
Then
how was
have to come back later. One.
how was the recovery process with that? Like, were you off both of your legs for like a minute, or like were you able to walk? Like, what happened?
I walked out of the hospital. Like I got up. I didn't use crutches at all, and I just walked out. Um, I did a little more than I should. Should have been a little better. Would have been nice to have like one of those feet. I have a bed that doesn't now, but it's too late now. But I have one of those bed that the feet adjust up. It would have been nice when I was healing. I iced a ton. I was very strict about icing, and uh, I was coaching wrestling at the time, so I was standing doing that. I eventually I'd show a little something, doing more than I should. Um, but it took me probably about 3 months to start like being able to really move at 100%. I still had issues. It still didn't feel great, with a lot of swelling. But it's good now. Now I don't really feel it. Now it's because I've done a lot of PT for it. I've done a lot of work. Um, I got these kinesiologists, dynamic movement. They've helped me a ton.
How annoying is it not fighting in Boston this weekend and fighting the next week in Singapore?
So stupid. It's so dumb. I don't think they have any local guys on that card, and it's I would have put so many seats in there. It would have been a different crowd. But they don't care. I mean, they're just gonna do what they're gonna do. They have their fights booked. I'm sure a lot of people wanted to get on it because it's in the U.S. and it's a good arena, good, good, and it's on a good card with O'Malley and Sterling. Um, it was dumb. I should have been on it, but it is what it is. I would like to get this one done, and then come back for MSG. So at least get some low card.
For sure, for sure. So, all right. So you're not. So instead of fighting in Boston, you're going across the world, going into enemy territory. You excited about that? does it not matter? Like, what's up with that?
No, I haven't really thought about it too much. I mean, I don't care for the 23-hour flight. But the enemy territory getting, if I get booed, I don't know if I will, because I mean, he's from Japan, so it's not like we're fighting in Japan. I mean, I might get booed. I don't really care if I do. I've been booed before. I've been booed several times, and it's just, I'll deal with it.
23-hour flights, pretty fucking ridiculous. What do you are you a sleeper on planes? Do you watch movies? Do you read? Like what do you do?
So it's two flights. My plan is to stay up for the first flight and try to sleep it through as much of the second flight as I can. I can sleep usually on a plane. I usually just lay, like hug and lay on my bag. I bought a neck pillow, so hopefully that'll help. Um, the the we'll see how it's 16 and a half hours, so I probably won't be able to sleep the whole time. Uh, um, but I'll get up, a stretch a little bit, move around, massage myself a little bit. I'm gonna bring my massage gun, um, and just try to bear with it. The first flight, I'm gonna stay up, probably watch some anime, read a book a little bit. Should get caught up on the reading, play some video games.
Gotcha.
It depends. I usually never buy Wi-Fi on the flights. I just don't care. I'll just because I sleep. I like if I have an 8 hour flight, I'm just gonna sleep the whole time. I'm gonna sleep for most of it at least. And I'll just listen to music. I don't need to spend the money on the Wi-Fi. But I'm definitely getting it this time, and I'm probably gonna play Catan the whole time.
That's fucking fantastic. Awesome. All right, well, let's talk about it, dude. Your opponent, 6-2 record. When he was offered to you, what I mean, and you know, you got the fight. What do you think of the matchup?
I was happy with it. I watched a few of his fights. I didn't get to see, so I before I it took me a little while to find because it's not on UFC Fight Pass, the his last fight, and it wasn't on. So I can only watch up to the Contender Series. It took me a little while. I had to steal somebody else's ESPN Plus to watch it. But I saw that he got finished, and I saw highlights of it. I saw that he got finished from mount with elbows. So I was like, okay, like that was your last fight. Which, like, listen, people can get better. He hasn't fought for what, like 8 months or something, I think, or 6 months. So he's had time off. I'm sure he's worked on his grappling, but it's only 6 months. So if somebody else can do that to you, there's a good chance that I'd be able to do it to you. So I was like, all right, that's in the back pocket. But he's also a good striker. He's absolutely a good striker. He likes to push forward. He knocked that kid out in the Contender Series, so he's no slouch. So I'm prepared for 15 minutes of war, but I think I can get it done in the first.
Yeah, both of you guys coming off the same season of the Contender Series, so there's kind of like, there's some like crossover there. On paper, it's a fun fight, man. Like both you guys are finishers, both you guys come forward. Um, I guess do you think it's like do you think it's gonna be kind of a banger fight where you guys come forward, or there's obviously a weakness in his wrestling, so you're gonna take him down and beat him up on the ground?
So I mean, if I could get a standing knockout, that'd be cool. It depends. It all depends. I think it more so depends on what kind of game plan he comes in with. Because so if you watched my last fight, he knows that, or he might think that all right, head kicks there. So especially from southpaw, because that's what I got hit with, which I'm not and I don't think enough people acknowledged it. But when I got dropped to that head kick, I was throwing a kick myself. I was throwing a shitty lead leg kick, just to throw it out there. And so, of course, I'm going to get sat to my ass if I'm on one foot, getting kicked pretty hard. Um, but I think if he banks on that, then that's going to lead to because I like catching kicks, especially head kicks and body kicks. So if he banks on power lead kicks, then it'll be a quicker. It'll go to the ground quicker because I'm going to try to catch it and take him down. If he pushes forward too hard, then because I don't plan on backing up, so he's either going to get backed up to the cage and eventually get taken down, or he's going to push and we're going to get really close And if we get close, I can get my hands on you. If I can get my hands on you, then I'm gonna take him down. Do I keep it on the ground? We'll see. I always like my like I could just like my coach always like, hey, take him down, establish the takedown, let him up, and then work you striking from there because now you've established the takedown. You have to respect it. But if I get you down, and I can finish you, then I'm not gonna let you up. Like, just take the route of least resistance.
Yeah.
Just be smart. The debut. Um, but it'd be nice to get a knockout on the feet. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I like that you mentioned your win on contender series because I don't think people talk about it enough. Like beating Shimon is fucking in the way you did. Like that was a good win, man. Like Shimon's a really really good fighter, super underrated, big for welterweight, and like you went through adversity to get that win.
Yeah, and I like it was very frustrating because it was shitty timing to throw that kick and to eat that, and then continue to have to get like picked apart a little bit on the feet afterwards. Um, but I mean, he started to get tired, and my shot started to get through, and I did start to lean heavily towards the boxing in that fight, which I mean, I've got good hands, so it worked. Um, but it didn't it wasn't the performance that I wanted on like listen, I can do all of these things. I'm gonna elbow you standing, I'm gonna elbow you on the ground, I'm gonna take you down and ground and pound you. I got knees, I got kicks. I've got a lot of different variability in my game, and I didn't really get to show it. So I'm hoping to have more of a performance that shows it this time around.
Gotcha. And last kind of thing, uh, your opponent was a big favorite in his last fight against Adam Fugit. Do you think? I mean, like you said, you barely even watched the fight. So, like, do you think it was he was overhyped, and his opponent was just not like underrated, or do you think like what do you think happened in that fight?
No, I mean, listen, anybody can win. There's always a puncher's chance. Like if you take some kid off the street and throw him in there with someone, he could win technically because he's gonna throw punches at you. So you could always get knocked out. It's just a lot less likely. So especially when you're fighting guys in the UFC that are at high level. And I think pretty sure it was a short notice. So he probably how much did he know about the kid? Was he able to prepare for the kid's wrestling and the grappling? You don't know. So it can go either way. Like even now, when I go into the fight, like yeah, so on paper I have better wrestling. Personally, I think I have better striking too on paper. But even if like no matter what, like anything can happen. He could catch me with a kick and knock me out. I could catch him with a kick and knock him out. So it's he could have gone in there. Weight could have taken him out. I think he was piecing him up on the in striking. Like he was hitting him. And so he started. I what I would guess is what happened is so he starts hitting him, starts taking advantage on the striking. He was doing a decent job getting up to his feet, so he's not too worried about the wrestling. But the wrestling's there. Fugit took him down, had a little bit of control, so he can take him down. Um, and then he started coming forward a lot, and then Fugit cracked him, took him down off of that. And if you're a little rocked and you don't have the wrestling already, now you're in for a rough time.
So basically, it's a fight, and anything could happen in a fucking fight.
Yeah, yeah. Especially if you get rocked. Like you take Henry Cejudo, one of the best wrestlers ever in MMA, and he gets rocked. Now someone else might be able to wrestle you a little better.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Awesome, dude. Well, all right. At the end of the day, man, um, August 26th in your UFC debut in Singapore, how do you get your hand raised?
First round finish. That's the plan.
I love it, dude. I love it. Awesome. And you obviously you're not looking past this guy, but you get a win. You're trying to get that Madison Square Garden.
Absolutely. If no, hopefully no damage. But like I said, it could be I could break my hands, I could break my face. A whole lot of things could happen. If it goes perfect and according to plan, that's yeah, I want MSG.
Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something? Um, awesome, dude. Awesome, Billy. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, man. If you want to plug your social media, any sponsors you might have, and if you want to thank anybody, the floor is yours.
Absolutely. I appreciate the time. The But huge thank you to my family, my friends, and my team for supporting me through all this. It's been a long road to recovery and back to getting active. And my teammates, Austin Shala, Jake Kasky, Randy Francis, Eric Zane, Brennan Ward's been helping me out a ton. Kevin, my coach, jiu-jitsu coach, Kirkor, um, my coach Dexter, and they've been really pushing me this camp. It's been one of my best camps yet, and I feel great. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. So I'm super grateful for them. Follow my Instagram page, Billiam Goff. It's also my Twitter. Follow my team's page, Team Dexter Valley Tudo. The Huge shout out to my sponsors, Nummy's Bakery, Cardboard Kids, Weiss Furniture, Connecticut officials. They're officials for wrestling. It's just thank you to everybody that supported me, and hopefully everybody tunes in. Sorry for everybody who's got to watch at 5 a.m.
Make sure to subscribe to the LowKick MMA YouTube channel for all the latest news, event previews, and interviews with some of the biggest stars in MMA.